Well, thank you. Good morning, everyone here. This little presentation is an attempt to shake some of the certainties that we associate with the term literature, and to point out some assumptions which underlie the general understanding of the term literature. Also, in the course of this very brief presentation, we are trying to make the notion of literature less exclusive than what it seems now. So, what is literature? The question might surprise you for its simplicity, which I think is deceptive. It might embarrass you, some of you. You might think as well that you have been doing a lot of literature for these many years. You have read hundreds of books already. What is the way to define the term? As if something new about it. But now you could see this person here in the assembly on the screen for quite some time now, 10 to 15 minutes. I'm sure most of you would already started that thought process in your mind. If somebody asks you, maybe you never thought of it, so what are you going to say about it? What is literature? What's your take? What words are you going to choose to define the term literature? Let's do this inquiry together. We get the definitions, Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, 8th edition. It says, pieces of writing that are valued as works of art. Now, to understand what is literature by this definition, we must know what are the works of art. What are the nuances of art? What is art? The dictionary says the making or expression of what is beautiful in painting, music, literature, etc. So what are the works of art? Is literature, painting, music. Literature is work of art, and the works of art are literature. So now you wonder at the circularity which is involved in these definitions. Dictionary says literature, work of art. In the dictionary you find what are the works of art, it's a literature. So we come to the same point once again. We have another friend here on the web, serving all of us, can answer anything, everything. Let's ask what it has to say. It says literature in its broadest sense, and I think it's quite broad, when it says any written work. Written work, literature, of course, there is a connection, but any written work, can it be literature? I don't agree. You decide for yourself. It talks about the etymology of the term literature, and then it talks about that the spoken and sung texts can also be called literature. Now there is another dimension to it. We might be perceiving literature to be in the books and the pages, but it says, in fact, the sung and the spoken text may be literature. And now you have whole, large number of books on the web, e-books, so we call it electronic literature. And it also says more restrictively it is writing that possesses literary merit. Now what is literary merit? We need to know it, then we can understand what is literature. And to know what is literary merit, we may in the case need to read hundreds of books and expertise it and then apply it to the text and then find out whether it is literature or not. Quite a tedious task. Then there have been thousands and lakhs of thinkers, philosophers, poets, novelists, authors all over the country, all over the world, in different languages. They have tried in their own ways to define literature. Now let's see what these definitions have to say about literature. There is this gentleman, Lawrence Lerner, a South African-born English novelist, essayist, thinker. He says, literature is language well used. Advertisement is also language well used, isn't it? Do you call it literature? Do you call it literature? I don't think so. So this definition is including something which may not be literature. Vladimir Nabokov, a Russian novelist, philosopher, thinker, great thinker. He wrote in Russia, he wrote in English also afterwards. He says literature and butterflies are two sweetest passions known to man. Now what do we infer about literature from this definition is very individual and subjective. We might as well think that literature is beautiful like butterflies. We chase it, we play it, we try to catch it, and sometimes, try to get it in the hand. So we don't get any precise answer. Maybe it's aesthetic definition, but all that is literature seeks to communicate power. By Thomas D. Quincy, another English poet and author. His best works, one of his best works is The Confessions of an Opium Eater. And he is known to start a trend in literature called addiction literature. He says all that is literature seeks to communicate power. Now what is power? Now to know about literature from this definition, we need to understand the concept of power, which is again a huge concept. It may vary person to person, place to place, gender to gender, in all the dimensions it has to it. So, I think we're not getting any precise definition here, and I hope you agree with me. We are going together. So what I thought, let's do a reverse exercise. Let's see one of the books and try to see whether they are work of literature, whether they are literary work or not. And in the course of this exercise, we may, as I said, make the notion of literature less exclusive. Maybe we come to know more shades and what is more to it. Romeo and Juliet, Animal Farm, and there are hundreds of books. Or to Nightingale or to Autumn. Are they literature? Well, everyone will say yes. Fine. What about this? You call it literature. Yes. But then some of you, had I been at your place, I would have done that. Some of you may come forward and say, this is literature, but this is Indian literature. Yes. Godaan by Premchand, Indian literature. Now here comes another point here in the picture, that literature in our mind has become equated with English literature. We perceive literature to be English literature. When we are talking about this Romeo and Juliet or other literature, we never bother to say it is British literature. We just say literature. Because we have been reading a lot of literature and we perceive literature to be like that. Salman Rushdie, Midnight Children. Indian literature, British literature, there is a big debate. So this is Indian authors of Indian origin writing in English, called Indian writing in English. Another dimension to it. So you see at this moment that the literature have these very dimensions. Nationality comes in, language comes in, regional, then we have regional literature, Bengali, Gujarati, Punjabi, all sort of literature. Then we have religious literature, Hindu literature, Sikh, Islamic, all that. And this way we keep on adding shades and aspects to the literature. We will say, now you know it, Indian writing in English, but there is more to it. Indian women's writing in English. So every book is adding some new aspect to the literature. What about this? A very famous piece of literature by Milkraj Anand called Untouchable. Indian writing in English, of course, but this fall into the category of Dalit literature. And there are thousands of other books who are talking about this particular class of society fall into this category called Dalit literature. So now the literature is class-based. Dalit literature, middle class literature, elite class literature, and so on. 5.7, over 7 million copies sold in the country and abroad. In the literary, among the literary figures and the literary scene, this book is still struggling to be called a piece of literature. There are a lot of debate and discussion going on for the last decade since the publication of the book. Because people say it lacks, the seriousness. So we perceive literature to be something serious. And that's why we have a difficulty in accepting this as literature. And you can always debate and discuss on this. And the critics have gone to an extent to coin a new term for this, and they call it fast food literature. Now the irony of the situation is that at first place all the literary giants are not ready to take it as a part of literature, then they call it fast food literature, but nonetheless they are calling it literature with some qualification, whatever. The Discovery of India by Jawaharlal Nehru, and there are thousands of other such books. Fall and Decline of Roman Empire, Homage to Catalonia, and the status of these books has been being questioned for these many decades now, whether they are works of history, whether they are works of literature. So literary people says it is all about history, it is a work of history. Historian would say it is too personal to be called a history, and then we may find out, okay, this is historical literature. And then there are another bifurcation in the history, the archaeological history, religious history, all that history, geographical history, and then literature based on that. Literature? Yes, but then you would say it is children's literature. So now another dimension of literature, children's literature, teenage literature, old age literature, middle age literature. Tomorrow, do you expect infant literature? Ulysses. So the people would come and say it's a classic literature. So now we have classic literature, then it means there is non-classic, there is ordinary literature. So now, discussing these many books, we realize that each and every book is adding a new dimension, a new aspect to the literature. And then it is very difficult to cover all those aspects in a set definition. When a presentation like this starts with a question, the audience in general expects to get an answer by the end of the presentation. And here, I'm sure and I'm sorry that I have disappointed you. I have not been able to give you an answer. Rather asked you more questions. What purpose does it serve? What makes something literature? How do we distinguish between literary and non-literary works? So the point we are trying to make here is that the term literature is on journey for centuries now. It has traveled centuries. It is going to travel for centuries to come. And in this journey it is evolving. I won't say century by century or decade by decade or year by year. I would say it is evolving moment by moment. At this point of time, thousands and lakhs of people all over the world writing something which tomorrow is to be called literature. And they are going to add more aspects and shades and dimensions to the literature to come. And the term literature will have to spread its wings to cover all that to be called literature. The linguistic space, I mean to say, which occupies is broadening, is widening day after day. The concepts like this cannot be narrowed down to a definition. That is what I believe. It's open to discussion. It's not a final statement. We can take it from here further. We can rewind and take it further. The linguistic space of the term like this, literature and many other terms, is broadening and widening day after day. At this point, however, when there's a lot of discussion, we might think that when there are these many questions about what is literature, what is not literature, let's ask another question, what is not literature, which may help you in find out what is literature. Finally, the question remains the same. What is literature? So let's, to begin with, we all are, great readers here. There are students who must have finished thousands of books till date. To begin with, next time when you pick up a book, you might as well, before or while reading it or post reading it, wonder as to who is the author, what country is coming from, what aspects he is talking about, what are the different themes which are running to the book, the different aspects. Is it talking about some class, war, peace, society? There are as many definitions and dimensions as possible to it. So we started with the presentation, what is literature? We ended with another question. Thank you very much.